let's talk about the all-new iMac. Apple wants you to say hello to their newest iteration of the iMac for 2021. The iMac has been completely redesigned in a bright array of color options and entirely new hardware inside and out. But this bold and eccentric style isn't exactly what most had been expecting for the iMac's latest debut. Apple unveiled this new design at their virtual spring event, alongside some other notable product announcements and upgrades. The least exciting of the bunch, perhaps, is the new Apple TV 4K, whose redesigned remote may have garnered the greatest attention. However, it also has some nice feature additions to help you get the most out of what you're watching. AirTags also made their long-awaited introduction as a dedicated Find My locator that utilizes the U1 chip and Apple's vast network of devices to keep your mind at ease of losing whatever it's attached to. AirTagged items can easily be viewed at a glance on the map, and if you happen to misplace something, local directive tracking will help you recover it swiftly and accurately. With this portable tracking solution, Apple has kept privacy in mind, with features for devices to recognize unknown AirTags nearby and audible alerts if you happen to have one that doesn't belong. One of these little beacons can be yours for just $29. However, a 4-pack only costs $99. All of which have the option of adding an engraving that can consist of initials, numbers, or even select emoji. And of course, Apple gives you the option to accessorize in style with loops and keyrings to secure them to your precious belongings. But let's get back to the iMac. Seeing its first major redesign in nearly a decade, with the slimmest profile of any to date, at only 11.5mm thin. Available in a total of 7 colors, with a darker anodized body and lighter accented stand, Apple logo, and front face. The bezels have been trimmed, making more room for the screen, which increases in size to 24 inches, with a slightly higher resolution 4.5K Retina display, which is now covered in a single pane of glass that extends across the entire face of the iMac. One of the main points of contention with this new design is the choice to use white bezels around the screen, no matter the color combination. It's certainly not the first time the iMac and other devices have sported a white bezel. And while it fits the bright aesthetic, many feel it doesn't provide the appropriate contrast when viewing certain content or blend with the black letterbox of a movie. It begs the question of why there isn't a color option offered with black bezels, but I wouldn't rule this out for a future model. The ultra-thinness of the new design is thanks to the powerhouse M1 chipset, packing much better efficiency into smaller space. This same chip that debuted last year in the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and Mac Mini now finds its way into iMac, making this the first iMac model with Apple Silicon, with an 8-core CPU and GPU and a 16-core neural engine, all in one package. Surprisingly, the new iPad Pro is also receiving the M1 treatment this year, giving Mac enthusiasts yet another reason to beg for macOS on the iPad. This addition comes alongside a long-rumored but still impressive upgrade to Apple's new XDR Mini LED Retina display, which has more dimming zones in 12.9 inches than their 32-inch Pro XDR standalone monitor. This unfortunately did not make it into the 11-inch model this year, but here's to hoping it does in the future. The iPad Pro also gets an upgrade to 5G networking in the cellular models, but the breakthrough updates are certainly the M1 processor and the Mini LED display. This brings us to the other major gripe many have with the new iMac, which is the choice to keep the chin, as it's called, below the display. Granted, this chin has been a staple of the iMac for quite some time, and is arguably a defining feature of its recognizability. Also key to point out is the engineering involved this year to minimize the entire guts of the computer into the center of this bottom area, leaving only the thermals for the display across most of the volume. This is entirely thanks to the M1 chipset requiring less cooling and allowing components like the RAM and SSD storage to be unified onto the logic board. Sure, it likely was possible for the iMac to be thicker and place these parts behind the display, but this would also likely make heat dissipation less efficient. It should be no surprise Apple tends to go for sleekness and recognizability so that the design still stands out to their broad consumer base. Along with this new aesthetic, however, also comes some added and improved features. First off, you may have noticed that the available trackpad, keyboard, and mouse all come in matching colors now as well. Not only that, but the keyboard has also been slightly redesigned and now includes Touch ID in the top right corner. For ease of unlock, password fill, or use with Apple Pay. Every new iMac is also outfitted with a high-fidelity 6-speaker system, with force-canceling woofers providing stereo sound and support for spatial audio when playing video with Dolby Atmos. In terms of connectivity, it comes with either 2 or 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the back and a nifty new magnetic power adapter that secures through the stand. Not sure why it doesn't have the MagSafe branding, but possibly a liability issue so people don't assume it will come unplugged if they knock it off a desk or something. In the box, you get the color-matching power cord, an adapter, Magic Mouse, Magic Keyboard, and a first color-matched braided USB-C to Lightning cable for charging the included accessories. I'm sure many would love for Apple to offer this particular cable separately. So what about those that feel left out and wanting more from this release? Well, Apple is no doubt working on a next-generation Apple Silicon, which could very well make its debut later this year. Possibly even in a new iMac Pro, with space gray aluminum finish and black bezels that will satiate the stirrings of those disappointed in this first iteration refresh for 2021. Having said that, I doubt it would nix the chin on this model, but given the proper performance gains, I'm sure majority could look past that. Based on Apple's history with mobile chipsets and their stellar launch of Apple Silicon with the M1, I think it's a fair bet whatever it is will blow us away. No matter how you feel about the new iMac design, it's certainly a refreshing new take on the classic Apple desktop, and one that has already proven popular based on initial sales. It will be interesting to see how it functions under real-world use, and stacks up against its fellow M1-powered devices, which is quite the growing list as of late. I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. While you're there, feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and be sure to subscribe for even more tech videos coming soon to this channel. Until next time, I'm SeanXTech.